everyone. In this video we will be writing real-world systems of inequalities. So that's basically word problems. If you are in Ms. Drake's class, we are on page 45 in your Unit 3 packet. Okay. For the do now, hopefully you already read through the question. If not, we'll do it together now. It's the same question for the first example as you worked on in the do now. So the Island Cinema is conducting a mathematical study. In its theater, there are 200 seats. I'm going to highlight that, that's important. Adult tickets cost $12.50 and child tickets cost $6.25. So there's two different prices for the two different types of tickets. The cinema's goal is to sell at least $1,500 worth of tickets for the theater. So it says to write a system of inequalities. So a system means two inequalities that can be used to find the possible combinations of adult tickets X and child tickets Y that would satisfy the cinema's goals. Okay, so they give us the variables we want to use. Let's go back to the information in the question. So if there's only 200 seats, the total number of adult and child tickets they can sell are 200. So that means X and Y together, or the number of adult and children tickets together, cannot be greater than 200. So that means it has to be less than or equal to. So my first inequality is going to be X plus Y, right? Adult and child tickets together cannot be greater than 200. So less than or equal to 200. So that is one of my inequalities. A lot of times one of the inequalities is going to be X plus Y and then your total. Now your second inequality, so this has to do with the number of C's. Your second inequality is going to have to do with the cost of each type of ticket. Okay, so adult tickets cost $12.50. Well, we're using X for adult tickets, so we'll write $12.50 times X, because it's $12.50 for each adult ticket, plus child tickets cost $6.25. So we're going to write 6.25 Y, and then we want at least $1,500. So what inequality symbol would you use? At least means greater than or equal to 1,500. Okay, so we have our two inequalities, the total number of tickets inequalities and the total amount of money inequality. Once you have your two inequalities, the second part says to graph the system. So in order to do that, we have to have both inequalities solve for Y. We need them in slope-intercept form. So in this space down here, I'm going to rearrange each one before I put them onto my grid. Okay, so I'll take this first one over here. X plus Y is less than or equal to 200, and I want to get Y by itself. Okay, so I need to move this X term. I'll do that by subtracting X from both sides. Okay, cross out your X's. Y is less than or equal to, and then I can't do 200 minus X, so I just write 200 minus X. Okay, I'm all solved for Y, so that's one of the inequalities that will go on my grid. Okay, this inequality I'm going to rewrite over here so I can rearrange it. So 12.50x plus 6.25y is greater than or equal to 1,500. Okay, so I'm trying to get my Y by itself. I'm going to move the X term just like I did over here by subtracting 1250x from both sides. Okay, so those cancel, and I have 6.25y is greater than or equal to 1,500 minus 1250x. So again, they're not like terms, so I can't subtract them, just like I couldn't over here, so I just write it horizontally. Okay. My next step to get the Y by itself, there is a coefficient here, so I'm going to divide by whatever that coefficient is. In this case, it's 6.25, so divide everything you see by 6.25. Okay, the 6.25's cancel. Bring down your Y, bring down your greater than or equal to sign. And then on a calculator, you'll do 1,500 divided by 6.25, and you should get 240. And then if you do 12.50 divided by 6.25, you should get 2. So we'll write minus 2x. Okay, now the Y is by itself, so we're ready to graph. So both of our inequalities are set equal to Y. Okay, so two ways you can graph this. If you take a look at our scale, we're not counting by ones like we were in the last two lessons. We're counting by tens, and we're all in the first quadrant. So here's my 0, and I have all positive x's and all positive y's, right? X represents the number of adult tickets, so let's go ahead and label that since I'm talking about it. And on the side, Y represents child tickets. Let me label that. Right. We're never going to sell negative tickets, so that's why we're always in the first quadrant. So two ways we can do this. We can go based off the slope and the y-intercept, okay. But since the scale is not counted by ones, that might be challenging for us. You could also go to Desmos to get a table. So I'm going to do that just to review with you how to get points from Desmos. Okay, so you're going to go to desmos.com and go to the graphing calculator. In here, you can put your equation. So we can't get the points if we use an inequality sign. So instead of y is less than or equal to 200 minus x, I'm going to write y equals 200 minus x. That way I can get the points from the table. So the line doesn't show up because of the scale. So if I use this minus sign to zoom out, you can kind of see the line start to show up. But we want to go based off the points anyway. So to get points, you'll hit this gear key. And then this looks like a table. So the first x value I want, let me go back to my picture so you can see it. If you look at the x value here, I have 0, and then 10, and then 20, and then 30. So I'm not counting by ones, I'm counting by tens. So on your table, I don't want x is -2 or -1. X is 0, y is 200. So that's one of the points I can copy down. So on my table, 0, 200. And then remember I'm counting by 10, so then I could use 10, 20, 30, really anything up to 250 would work as an x value. So I can type in any x I want. So maybe we'll do 10 next. Okay, if I type in 10 here, it gives me the y value is 190. So let me put that on my table. So 10, 190. Okay. And then let's go back. Let's maybe come up with 2 or 3 more points. Let me type in x is 50. When x is 50, y is 150, and then I'll do one more. Maybe I do x is 150, and y is 50. So let me put those 2 points on my table. So I have 50, 150, and 150, 50. Okay. And while I'm on Desmos, let me just get my points for my other line, and then I'll do the whole graph at the same time. So the other equation is y is greater than or equal to 240 minus 2x, but I'm going to use an equal sign when I type it into Desmos. So I'm going to x out of this, and I'll type y equals 240 minus 2x. Okay. Hit the gear button, and then this picture of a table, convert to a table. So again, I don't want negatives. I want my x's to go to be a multiple of 10. So 0, 240 would work, and then I'll do 50 and 150 again. So when x is 50, y is 140, and then let's do like x is 100. As long as it's a multiple of 10, that's fine. So I'll write down these 3 points onto my table, and then I will go ahead and do my graph. Okay, so I had 0, 240, 50, 140, and 140. Okay, so let's do this graph I'll do this graph in blue and I'll do this one in red, just so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So I have the point 0, 200. Okay, so here's my 0, 200. Okay. 10, 190. Ooh, sorry if you can't see these grid lines that well. They didn't copy that great. Sorry about that. 50, 150. So here we go. It's about there. And then 150. 50 would be here. Okay, before I connect my points, take a look at your inequality symbol and try to think about what type of line, solid or dashed, and which way you would shade. Okay, hopefully you said solid, and it's a less than sign, so you would shade below. Okay, so let's connect our points with a straight line, and then we're going to shade below. I use stripes. And then I'll do my label off to the side. You can either write the original inequality or the rearranged. I usually write the rearranged, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, there's the bell. All right, the other inequality I'm going to do in red pen. So I have my 3 points, 0 to 40 is here. And then 50, 140. and 140 is here. Okay, so you need at least 3 points. If you copied down more, that's fine. Use a ruler or something straight to connect. Okay, is it a solid line? Yes, we have an equal sign, so it's solid. And then, which way should I shade? Take a look at the inequality symbol. Okay, so it's solid and hopefully set above because it's a greater than sign. Okay, so from this red line, I'm going to shade up like this. Okay. Let me label my line. I'm going to do it over here. Y is greater than or equal to 240 minus 2x. Okay. And then don't forget to label the overlapping shaded region with an S that stands for solution. Okay, so this whole, looks like a triangle. This triangle here is your solution set. Any point in this double shaded region is considered a solution because it makes both inequalities true. Okay, so when you have a question like this, a lot of times there'll be a question about the graph underneath. So usually asking if something is a solution or not. And because this is a word problem, instead of just giving you an X and a Y, they're saying, would 30 adult tickets and 80 child tickets result in meeting the cinema's goal? Explain whether she is correct or incorrect based on the graph drawn. So 30 adult tickets, would that represent an X or a Y value? An X. So I'm going to find the 30 on my X-axis, and then 80 child tickets, that would represent my Y value. So 30, 80 is this point right here. Is that a solution? Is it in the double shaded region? No, it's in the blue shaded region, but it's not in the red shaded region. So she is incorrect because it is not in the double shaded region. Right, so it makes the blue inequality correct. It makes this one true. X plus Y is less than or equal to 200 because we could sell 30 plus 80 adult tickets. Or tickets total. We could sell 110 tickets, but they wouldn't make the $1,500 goal that they were looking for. Okay. So what we want you to do next is try the next 2 examples and check your answer key with the link in the instructions before you try the homework problems, and let us know if you have any questions.